Heidi and Frank Show. Got Paul Stanley and Michael Zislis in here talking about the grand opening and official ribbon-cutting ceremony of Rock and Brew Restaurant at Terminal 5 at LAX. It's going to be this Thursday at 10:30 a.m.
This is the best Tuesday ever on the Heidi and Frank Show. Wouldn't you agree?
They brought in the Oktoberfest brew.
Delicious.
And pretzels and
with beer cheese.
I mean, this is like...
We come bearing gifts.
You do.
We
you can
love
come back
it.
anytime you guys want.
Now, Michael, at the restaurant, Rock and Brews, and I'm looking at this big mug, which I love. It's heavy. You feel like you're getting your money's worth here. How many beers in this thing?
That is a liter, so that's 3 beers.
Okay, so I go in and I order a liter, and this is what I get.
That's
3
about
beers.
34 ounces.
Oh
It's going to be one of them shows.
I got a feeling, yeah. Yeah.
Go big or go home.
That's true. We always go big, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask Paul about when he lost his virginity and the story behind it. But then I was looking at Michael's bio here, and it says when you got into the beer world, you were 13 years old. You broke your virginity with beer at 13.
Both the same year, actually.
Oh, really? For you too? 13?
All right.
Well, beer helps, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It does. That's what got me laid. No.
it probably did. No, when I see here it says at 13, that's when you brewed your first beer for a science experiment in school.
That's what I told my parents. But
that
actually,
went over big.
yeah,
Right?
it did. Actually, at 13, they changed the law in America that you could homebrew when I was 13.
Okay.
And I saw it in the back of a Popular Science magazine while I was at my orthodontist, and I mailed away a $16 check from the postman, and I got a beer kit and told the parents it was a Moss experiment, and I was fermenting beer in the garage.
That's awesome.
And you've been doing, restaurateur and brewery stuff since.
I opened my first brewery when I was in college. I went to USC, and I dropped out to open Manhattan Beach Brewery. So I've opened a lot of breweries, probably about 140 around the world.
We're going to be very, very close friends.
Good friends, good friends. And then I opened up some great restaurants, Rockin' Fish, The Strand House,
yeah.
Shade Hotel. And when I met Gene and Paul and the Ferrano brothers, Dave and Del Ferrano, they're the famous concert promoters who put together all this imagery in the restaurants. I mean, all this, they're the kings of licensing. So we all kind of got together, and I had the restaurant beer background. These guys brought the rock and roll, and we thought we'd do a who doesn't like rock and roll and beer. So, I mean, really, honestly, beer and classic rock just go together on a sunny day like nothing else.
And so the first one you opened up was in El Segundo, right? The very first rock and
First
brew?
one was in El Segundo, and actually it was a test one. We did a test
First one.
first. It was successful. We tore it down and built a whole new restaurant. And then from there, we've got 4 open now. So we've got Cabo San Lucas. We've got Redondo Beach, Rock and Brews PCH. The airport is open now, so anybody's going to the airport, Terminal 5 Delta, and you can take a tunnel from Terminal 6 and Terminal 4. So I've been able, I flew out on a different airline last weekend, and I ran over and popped a few of those liters there for you.
How many of these can you drink, Michael?
The record, while not driving, of course.
Yes,
Right,
of course,
by
of
being
course.
safe.
Every year I have an Oktoberfest birthday, which happens to be this Sunday, actually.
Okay.
And 7 liters is my record.
All right, let's see if I can't break that before 10 a.m.
That's what math serves 21 beers.
21 beers.
In like a
21
sitting.
It's a long sitting. It's like eating at the French Laundry. It's like a 5-hour sitting.
You got with a pro here, Paul. Good. Yeah, he knows his beer and his food.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I can't compete with that.
Oh yeah, the Virgin story.
That's what we're waiting for.
I thought you were. I thought we had
No,
skipped over that.
If you want to think back to the time when you were deflowered.
It was a long time ago. Actually, I impressed a girl by killing a dinosaur.
Drug her back by her hair.
But it was easy to kill because it was a T-Rex and he couldn't fight back.
Yeah, the age? How old were you?
I was a late bloomer. I was 17.
Okay.
And but I made up for lost time very quickly.
I'm guessing you probably
had some
did.
opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of naive, and I never understood that all these women and girls and neighbors, I thought they were just being friendly. And once that bell went off in my head, I went, there's more here than meets the eye. So I became very friendly with my neighbors and schoolgirls, and it was it's been fun.
At 17, though, did you know? Because I was also 17. It was 9 days before my 18th
Now I
birthday.
remember.
Right? Yeah. I'm the dinosaur. No, but I was like 9 days before my 18th birthday, and for me, it was like everyone had already done it. I mean, now I think of a 17-year-old, I think that's so young, you're a baby, you have time. But you know,
I think
it's
there's
like
17 and a grandma on MTV right now. I think it's a new
it's
show.
probably true. Yeah. So, and I lost mine on a black lacquered waterbed
Wow.
with mirrored ceilings. Yes. So I saw it happen. It was awful.
Yeah, those water beds were kind of touted as something they really
But
weren't.
not
They're
good for
awful
sex.
for sex.
Yeah.
There's just not. There's nothing to push on. You need
Yeah,
a
you
little
need resistance.
Yeah.
Let's have some resistance.
Were you at home in your like,
No, I
neighborhood?
was actually I was working as a busboy in a camp upstate that was very much like Dirty Dancing. You know, that kind of environment, and you know the staff was on one side of the road and the hotel was on the other side. And one of the waiters' girlfriends was in his room, and he was off at work.
Oh.
And I just decided today's the day.
Was she older than you?
Yes, she was.
How much older?
I'd say about 5 years older than
Yeah.
me, which back then was
Paulie.
yeah, you know.
So she kind of led the way. I mean, you knew you wanted it, and you got.
I mean,
the-
quite
the
honestly, I didn't
signals.
even know, if I was in the right, I mean, I didn't know what it was supposed to be like, quite honestly. So I was just, is this it, So,
That's what's it's so funny. We always talk about this with people, and for the most part, that's what all of us say. It's like, I don't get what the big fuss is about. Everybody's talking about this. I don't think it was that great. And then 3 or 4 times in, you're like, oh, I get
well,
that.
no matter
This is
what I
awesome.
thought about it afterwards, I went, I want to do this again.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to form a rock band and do it every
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
2
wanna
or
do
3
this.
times a
I want
day.
to do this before and after every show.
Yes.
So yeah, looking at your extensive resume of women that you've been with, when you remember the first
My
one.
God, what are you,
she-
Howard
He's living
Stern?
through you.
Well,
He's living
I'm
through
saying,
you.
was she something that you would like that you like remembering? I mean, it's like it's a fond memory. She was attractive. She was like, she still glows.
Well,
to you.
it's kind of like, the gun that goes off when you first start the race that you ultimately won. The race has been more fun maybe than the start.
How old are your kids?
I have a 19-year-old who's at NYU in the Tisch music program.
Oh, wow.
And then I have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
My God, Paul
Yeah.
Stanley.
What is the goal musically for the 19-year-old?
He's a brilliant guitar player. I mean, just brilliant, and a terrific songwriter and a terrific singer, and an A student and a great guy. I mean, he's my idol. I'd like to be like him.
Oh, that's a really cool thing to say.
Did you give Gene Simmons a call the other night about his the Star Spangled Banner that he sang in London? Did you see the clip of that?
I did not.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, come on. You got to call him up about that stuff. Because I guess he said he had his sore throat, and then he had like a choir behind him, and it wasn't like mic'd right or something. And he was in London. It was an NFL game, and he was singing, and I didn't know he even had it in him to sing like that.
Gene's been in here a couple of times. We're
Did you
we're
hear
old
me
friends.
sing the Star Spangled Banner at the Dodger game? That is something that's worth YouTubing. Go on YouTube.
Go on
will.
YouTube, look it up.
Yeah.
Is it a hard song to sing,
I
though?
think
It's
the
very,
hardest.
very
Right.
hard.
Because then if you realize I
That
started
first
too
note,
high.
you're like, oh, I started too high.
Well, the best thing you can do is, because no matter how low you start, you go, and the rise. I mean, you can't win.
no matter how good a singer, it's a hard
You
song.
know why
to-
everybody changes the melody? Because they can't sing it.
Right,
You
yeah.
know. But for God's sakes, if you're going to sing the national anthem, respect it and do it the way it's supposed to be done. I mean,
Then if you
so
forget the words, I mean, that's
yeah.
death.
It's funny because you could sing that every day for the rest of your life in school or on the job, and the day you have to sing it for a crowd and you're under that scrutiny, the words just go out the window.
Have you ever forgotten the words to your own stuff when you're on stage?
Well, I'm
but-
lucky
yeah.
because if I sing the wrong words, then the people in the audience just think they don't know the words.
I always thought it was.
Yeah.
Wanna,
Love gum.
I heard the trick was when you see the singer put the microphone to the crowd, he probably forgot.
Well, no, I have that's one of my pet peeves because, some singers who will remain nameless. When they start going like this, I go, no, I paid $100. You sing.
Right, I'm not
You know?
singing.
Yeah, I'm not singing. You sing.
don't like
Have,
that
have you
either.
been to someone else's concert recently?
Let's see, who's the last person? I can't remember the last show I saw. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the Stones.
When they were here in L.A.
Yeah,
Who do you like?
life is a blur.
Yeah. Who do you like right now? Like, who do you look at and go, yeah, that's somebody who's going to make it?
Foo Fighters, I mean, they're not new, but at least they're of a newer crop. I hate to say it, but the book's already been written.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Beatles and Led Zeppelin wrote the book, and everybody else, if they're lucky, write a page. So everybody at their best moment sounds like one of the classic bands. That's why classic music is so important. It's been around so long. It's because it's great. It's like your favorite pair of blue jeans. You can go to, all kinds of fashion and fad, but ultimately you find your way back to, something that's tried and true.
The standards.
Like rock and brews, ladies and gentlemen.
Like rock and brews, yes. Paul Stanley hang out with us. Have you had an artist come up to you and say that you were the influence on their career?
Many, and it's very satisfying to know that bands and artists that have been influenced by us don't necessarily sound like us. When you have a Lenny Kravitz or you have a Garth Brooks, you have people who are far from what you do. I think being influenced by a band doesn't mean imitating them, but it means being inspired by them and finding your own path.
As far as being like, the super energetic, entertaining front man that just basically sucks that crowd in. And then Garth Brooks, like you mentioned him, taking that to country music and being like, the artist of the year and putting on concerts. You've been to
several,
concerts,
that man
puts
works.
On a show and know that, you were influencing Garth Brooks across, genres.
It's great.
Yeah.
And look, I didn't invent the wheel. I only tried to put my own spin on it because, I was influenced by, Robert Plant, Steve Marriott, a lot of the classic British blues rock singers. I just wanted to be kind of like a rock and roll singer crossed with a televangelist. I wanted to preach holy rock and roll to the church of the arena.
I said,
Yeah.
I want to rock it all night. I want to party every day.
You're going to put me out of work.
Was there ever a time where you hated to do the face makeup?
Never,
Where you're like, I just want to go out tonight. I don't feel like sitting here and doing all this.
I mean, we honestly, we had, what was it, about 14 or 15 years without the makeup. Yeah. But, if you win the lottery, you don't complain about taxes. I mean, if that was what got us to where we were, how could we complain about it? It makes people happy. It makes me happy. I'm proud of the legacy we have. And
did you ever one night, just to screw with people, go, you put mine, I'll wear yours. We'll still do the same, guitar, you sing, but we'll mess with people like, no. I could have swore he had the star.
No,
wait, what?
The makeup is sacred.
Okay.
Yes,
we
don't
mess with the makeup.
Was there another option you thought of doing before you went with yours?
At one point, when I was experimenting, I thought about a ring around my eye like Petey, the dog from The Little Rascals, But as much of a dog as I was, I felt more like a star.
Paul Stanley, thank you so much for coming in. Anytime you want to come back.
Pleasure. I will be back, like it or not.
The grand opening and official ribbon cutting ceremony for the Rock and Brew restaurant is open right now, but this is just a ceremony. The grand opening is on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. LAX Terminal 5. If you're flying out of LAX, definitely go to Rock and Brew. If you're out in El Segundo, or was the other Redondo?
We're having Rocktoberfest in Redondo
Beach,
and El Segundo all month.
In Cabo.
Yeah. Keep us posted on your new locations, and I like how it's associated with Wounded Warriors and everything. You're doing great.
We got to do an
things,
event.
Paul.
We got to do an event there.
Let's do an event.
Everybody.
Can we do a party at your place?
We'll bring the leaders. You bring the mics.
Yeah,
we can do that.
Let's do a show there or something.
I'm in.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much, Paul Stanley. We're going to take a break.
Pleasure.
And you, Michael Zitz, let's thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
We're going to take a break. Come right back. We are Heidi and Frank.
That was just a little sample of the Heidi and Frank Show on 95.5 KLOS. Now, to get the show in its entirety, on demand, and if you want to watch the show, we webcast it every day, all you have to do is go to HeidiandFrank.com and become a premium package member. Do it right now.